The next thing I need to do is draw the profile. Now, we have done this in class. Depending on the length of your road, you may want to work this way rather than that way. If my road was sort of this long, it wouldn't fit there, and I'd have to work this direction. Whatever you do, you want to try and fill the page. You must, this is a requirement, you must have your line where your road goes, it must be perpendicular to the lines we're about to draw. It has to go like that. It can't go like this or like this. It must be perpendicular. If you do it this way, it must be like that. Okay, perpendicular to the lines you're drawing down from it. Otherwise your scale will not be right. So let me do this way. And it's really important that this does not move while you're drawing your profile, because if it moves, it's really hard to work out. So I'm using some blue tack. Oops, if I can get it to stick to the paper and not my finger. You can use blue tack or sticky tape or whatever you like, but make sure that your line goes straight compared to the grid paper. You will want to use 1mm grid paper for this, or maybe 2mm. Don't use the 5mm stuff. It won't give you enough detail. So, like we did in class, we're going to draw a vertical line down at each of our endpoints. If I was clever, I would have made that so it lined up with one of the grid lines, but that's not that important. Oh look, this one does, good. And it's really important when you're doing this. Number one, use a sharp pencil. This one's already a little bit blunt, and you can see the lines aren't really sharp. Also, make sure they're vertical. That's another reason to use a nice fine grid paper. Don't do this on plain paper. You must make sure your lines are at right angles. Then you must draw a line down wherever you've got a contour line. I suggest start with the dark ones. They're every 5 metres. So there. It's important also, go where your line is. If your line doesn't match your fold, go with the line. It's more accurate. There. You do have to be careful where the lines are really close together. Just draw them where you think they go. Okay, so at the bottom we're going to rule off our lowest point. That wasn't very good. It wasn't very straight. Let's try that again. It needs to follow that line exactly. Okay. Now my lowest point on this map will be here, which is between, that's 15 on the way up. So it's between 10 and 15. So I'm going to call that 10. Notice I'm labelling the line. Makes it much easier to be precise. My highest point I'm going to get to looks like 35. No, 40. Let's call it 45. So I need to space these nicely so I end up with 45 up near the top somewhere. Don't make this harder than it really is. Just try. What happens if I go up 2 at a time? So 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I actually have to get to 40, between 40 and 41, so that will work. 20, no, that wasn't what I said. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. The task sheet suggests you try to fill the page. Use as much of the page as you can. That's because you want to be using this later, this profile sheet later, to make accurate measurements. So what we're going to do is, the height of B is 21, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So if that much is 5, I'm going to go up let me have a look at this. There are 20 squares, so 4 squares per metre. There's 21, there's 22, there's 23, there's 24. Okay, so 24 metres for B is going to be there.